Okay, you guys, I am so excited today to interview one of my favorite people. Not only is he a two-time Emmy Award winner, he also holds the record for 10 consecutive Emmy nominations in Outstanding Choreography. Travis Wall, hi.
Hi, I miss you so much.
I miss you too. I don't know if people know, but you and I have like what I like to call office hours at backstage at So You Think You Can Dance before every show. And obviously that's not happening this summer.
Yeah, first of all, it's just another casualty to this year, and just this pandemic in general. But yeah, because our season always starts out, and we're always talking about like what I'm gonna do or what like the next projects are, and then I just fortunately get nominated for an Emmy, and then we're talking about that, and then you we're at this press event, and then you're following me at the Emmys. It's just like we always have like our summer of fun together, and it's just so sad that we're not doing that this year.
We are not, but congratulations on your 10th consecutive Outstanding Choreography nomination for Enough is Enough, which I think when I watched that in studio, the hair on my arms, I had chills. I think I told you that too. It was so stunning to watch.
I mean, thank you so much. It was, I mean, obviously everyone's had a really hard year. This year has been extremely hard for my family and, you know, in the industry in general. And just, so it was, everything that just kept happening. It was just like, okay, well, you know, one more thing, just add one more thing. And so, right. You know, obviously I've been nominated for the past 9 years, and you know, I wanted to put up just that piece. I had the option of putting up multiple pieces together, and that piece to me, just like, not only did it speak about what I originally created for, what I created it for, which was gun violence and everything that's going on this year, and then especially with like all the riots in LA and around the country, and just racism in general, and just the idea is just like enough is enough. The bigotry and the stupidity and the ignorance and it just spoke to me again this year, which was just like, I love that piece did that. But again, this year I was like, if anything's not going to happen, I'm not going to get nominated this year. Nothing matters anymore right now. All I care about is keeping my mom healthy, myself healthy, and just trying to stay mentally stable during this process, because it's just so foreign. But again, when I got the nomination, and I called my mom, and my mom was not having a good day health-wise and emotionally, and I was like, Mom, and usually I'm like screaming and crying, and it was just like, guess what? She's like, what? I was like, I just got nominated for an Emmy again. And she was like halfway sleeping. it was just like, that it just felt like a weird nomination, just because like, how is this still it just feels so strange, you know what I mean? Everything feels so weird to celebrate something in this moment of being like, what is going on? You know, I was so thankful and so ecstatic, but I couldn't process the emotions of, normally it's like, oh my God. And then any other year, like my 10th, I would have been freaking out, but I was just like, why do I feel extremely weird about being happy about this? You know what I mean? It felt weird. It felt strange.
Joy feels different this year, I think, you know, and we do have to celebrate those wins, as you should. But I think for your family, you guys have been through a tremendous amount with the loss of your brother, Danny. I don't know, your mom, her health has been, you know, something that everyone's been concerned about. And then you add a pandemic on top of this.
And every job you have and every dream, everything canceled, and you're just like, okay, what are you gonna do from like? And then you're like, we're figuring out finances and things, and mental stability of like, wait, I'm grieving right now, but I usually create through grief, and I create through pain, and I can't do those things, and I'm alone, and I'm isolated, and I thrive off my friends and my colleagues and everyone. It was just like, March was dark. It was insane. So, because Danny passed the week of the lockdown. So it was just all just crazy timing. But you know, I'm thankful for my friends, and you know, I'm thankful for teaching dance and being an educator and having that to be able to like fall back on really and really inspire me again, because again, like it's been just a really insane time mentally to like really stay
to not freak out and just be like, what's happening to, what's happening?
Well, seriously, I mean, what are the little things that are keeping you together? Because I think that mental health, especially, I think we're still all in shock, honestly.
Yeah.
And just because we're still in it, what are those little things that are keeping you going like every single day?
I mean, right now, like fitness is, I'm finally like back on my, just like working out and running a lot. I started running because, like the last text message I ever got from Danny was, he said, I feel so good I could run 5 miles. So I just started running 5 miles almost every day. And I've just, working out is like a really good outlet for me. And again, just being, I mean, my friends right now, like, thank God, just having that energy to like bat off of. And I drove across America. I got my car. I didn't want to jump on a flight. I haven't been on a flight in 6 months, which is insane for me.
Travel all the time.
Yeah, every 4 days. I got in my car and I did a road trip across America to bring my car back to the East Coast because I wanted to be able to see my mom whenever I wanted to and not have to like re-quarantine every time I get on an airplane. I'm in my car. I can drive and see her from New York. And so I've been in Virginia Beach. I'm actually in the dance studio. I've been dancing since I was 4 years old. And insane. This is where my mom made me do all the things.
I recognize it from I Dream of Dance because I've watched that documentary like 16 times because I love it so much.
Oh my God. So I've been in Virginia Beach for 3 weeks now, just spending as much time with her because I haven't been able to see her since the funeral.
How is she doing?
She's good. I mean, obviously she's still battling, her cancer, and she has full reconstructive surgery on her shoulder on Monday because it's just all torn apart just from all the chemo and radiation and things from her bones. So her shoulder is just like disconnected. So she's been so much pain. She's so excited about the surgery. Obviously it's a long process of healing and recovery and physical therapy, but she's just excited to be able to use her left arm again.
And so are you going to stay with her just to help her through the recovery?
Yeah, make sure she's good to go like for the first couple days.
Great.
And then I got to drive back to New York. I'm moving out of New York City. I'm moving all my stuff back to LA, and I just need to be in one place at one time and waiting for Broadway to open back up in fall 21. And then, once New York feels like it's thriving and working again, I'll get a space out there again. Cause that's my next goal is just to keep working in New York City as much as possible. But so, yeah,
is it true? Because you just said fall 21, and that's what I've been hearing from friends who are in like long running shows like Wicked and stuff, that they don't think they're going back till fall 21.
I think that some things will come back next summer. I think it's safe to say that everyone's betting on the fall 21, meaning that there's no like false hopes. Like by fall 21, things will be running. It's like, you'll say April 21 and everyone's like, wait, it's May and nothing's, it's just, they've kind of done this, like, it's happening here. Okay, let's just like bank on this. And if anything happens before, that's going to be great. I know like Live Nation and things like that, they're still talking definitely fall 21. But even when those things come back, that's still going to look different as well. So, fingers crossed.
I know. And obviously it's what's crazy though, is New York is kind of having a better situation right now than we are here in California.
Yeah.
But were you there when that whole sort of pandemic, that was frightening to watch from afar?
I was in New York City the first month and a half. So I got up because I was like, I want to be with my New York friends after Danny. I was like, I need to be around them. And then I got up there, and then it was like, everything shut down. You have to stay in your apartment. And I was like, this is the wrong place to be right now. But I couldn't get out. So I was isolated. I had like 2 people that like, we like lived in the same neighborhood. We had like our quarantine bubble where I only saw those 2 people for a month and a half, and that's it. New York was really quarantining. Like it was shut down. It was insane. The fear of going outside, the fear of going to a grocery store was, I literally had, when I got into my apartment, like everything was thrown off by the door. It was thrown into trash bags and stayed there for 5. It felt like it was like otherworldly for sure. So then I flew to LA to start doing Break the Floor Live and start to do some of those online dance conventions. I get to LA, and LA, I'm like, y'all are not quarantining. That is, you're having 8 people in your backyard. I don't care. That's not what New York was going through, but New York was doing it right. And that's why New York, like, yeah, locked down, and it sucked, but it was New York's able to come out of it correctly right now, and no one else in the rest of the country is.
Yeah, the good news is I just heard like 2 days ago that our numbers are just starting to tick down. So maybe you're coming back at the right time. And I think people are realizing we want to go back to work. We'd like to start production back up again. So
it's please everybody. So I got in the car and I started driving across country on my road trip. And literally I got in the car. I'm just arriving to Vegas and I got a text message saying, update from Gavin Newsom that was like, gyms, everything shut down again. I was like, I left at the perfect time.
You're like, bye.
Yeah, bye. Get me to New York where it's like green.
You're like, see you later.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
This has been my summer. This used to be the guest room. It's now a TV studio. Like,
I love it. How are you? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I mean, it's been a crazy adjustment too. A dance network shut down right around the pandemic time, and I switched over to World of Dance. So I'm working for World of Dance Studios, and that was fun working with them through their season. And obviously, I miss being backstage at So You Think You Can Dance, but we'll be continuing on with just telling stories from a World of Dance perspective. But we're going to include everyone. It's not just going to be focused on one TV show. It's about
So You Think that really broke my heart. It was obviously when I was thinking about it, I was like, the show, how can the show actually, it's the show relies on contact in every aspect, like from hair, makeup, and just different choreographers and assistants and them changing partners. Like it would have to just be a different show. It would almost have to be like a content show instead of like a performance. Like this like isolate a couple films content every week or something like that.
Right.
But
yeah, they'd have to be isolated completely.
So I just, Nigel's email seemed like it was done forever, but then Jeff's email seemed like we're not really sure. This could, but our future is unknown, and it's sad that we didn't get to like celebrate like a last season or celebrate the show itself or have, just because it just went off, you know what I mean? So who knows? It's, obviously we have no idea what the future holds, but yeah, I mean, for me, what a chapter. It was the show itself. I've been involved with that show for 15 years. And so, that's, I am really ecstatic about the Emmy nomination because it's the last year I could possibly get nominated for the show. And, I grew up on that show. I was a child. I was an infant when I walked into those doors, and the person and the things I've learned to where I am now, I'm just so thankful for that show. I owe my career to it, because it was a place for me to play. It was a place for me to grow and experiment and get to tell my personal stories to millions of people every week. And for me, it was the show that made choreographers have household names. And that inspired me and inspired multiple generations, you know what I mean, to bring out choreographers and not just want to be a dancer, but to be a creator.
Yeah. And that's something that other shows haven't succeeded. World of Dance, we actually focused with my interview show, we focused on the choreographers this year because you don't hear about it on the TV show. And I was like, that's what So You Think did so well, is make all of you household names. What was the greatest lesson you learned as a choreographer on that show? Where to start?
Oh my God.
I'll tell you what I liked. I liked that you kept pushing boundaries. The show wasn't always ready for it, but you kept pushing them and kind of making them go, we need to do this.
Yeah. But I wanted to, yes, for sure. And those were hard fights. Though there was a lot of no's. There was absolutely not. No way we can do that. And there was fighting or just like, it was a tennis match, you know what I mean? But, I found a way to approach it. I found a way of not being this very, I wouldn't say egotistical, but a very like hungry young choreographer. I'm going to do this. And I was a way of finding a way of putting it across to saying, this really means a lot to me, and showing them the cards and being like, Jeff, please let me do this. And not being like, I'm going to do this. Yeah. I felt like that I learned a lot of how to approach to get what I really wanted.
Yes.
To get everyone on my side, to see what I saw. And then I also learned to like drop expectation.
like I would expect to come in to do this one piece, or I expected this piece was going to be like my favorite thing. And I would sometimes prep too much, you know, in the very beginning of my journey on the show, I would prep a lot, and then I stopped prepping and I started doing everything on the spot. And I felt like that's where the best results came out, because I was working with the dancers in the room and not working with assistants. The funniest thing is about, not funniest, I think a rare thing about me at that show is I rarely had assistants. I always came in by myself. You know, there would be a couple times where I would pull in a couple dancers to like, I mean, again, I have over 11 years choreographing on that show. And so, you know, there's different areas where I might've brought in like someone in to like show something off. But, you know, they would always be like, you know, what are your assistants for the week? And I just be like, that's just me. And I just felt like it was easier to deal with my energy with the dancers I'm creating with, and not have this like, multiple personalities jumping back and off in a room. I just felt like I was super focused on the two people that I was working on, or the group I was working on. So, it's those dancers make the show, you know what I mean? The people that you're creating on, like the contestants, you owe them everything, because, you know, you're using their tools and their boxes.
My favorite was always, I'd be like, how was rehearsal this week? And you'd be like, it was terrible. Just terrible. It was awful. And then the dress rehearsal was even worse. And I'm like, don't worry, it's going to be fine. And then I'd go watch in studio, and it was like magic just happening on that stage.
You never know what, every choreographer will tell you this. You never know what's going to happen. You could have the best rehearsal, the best dress rehearsal, and then on stage, it just falls apart. And you're like, they look at you and you just go, I don't know. Or sometimes it's just, and then something clicks and it works. And, you know, I always told, if it's really good right away, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. They're going to
develop.
They're going to get used to it, and the energy is going to fall flat, and they're going to stop taking there's the comfortability that comes with it being so good on day 2, and you got to get to day 6. And then when it's ever that way, I'm like, I need it to be a mess on day 2. Well, like show and tell, it needs to be a freaking mess, where Jeff goes, and I'm like, I know, they're going to get there.
I'm not asking you to pick your favorite number, but is there a piece that just stands out for maybe like, it was just messy, you didn't know what to expect, and then it was magic, or just something, the rehearsal process was just something really special to you?
Oh Lord. When how do I say that? I don't know how to pick this. I will tell you did post that. I was in Provincetown, Massachusetts, and you posted that thing of like the consecutive years. And I was like, I looked at it, and I actually watched it. I haven't seen some of that stuff in so long. And I was like, whoa, look at the some of those choices when you're 23, you're like, wow.
Oh,
and I'm just
I did say that. I was like, look at the maturity over the years through the movement, how it changes. No, but it's so great to watch.
I feel like that maturity should be like on a dating profile or something. Yeah, just like, look at the growth, bro.
Here's where I started. Here's where I am.
The glow up.
The glow up was good.
There's 2 group routines. I mean, obviously I really loved this one this past year. When it's because we just talked so much about everything that was going on. We brought what was happening outside of CBS inside the rehearsal room. And like the day before that, there was another mass shooting before we started rehearsals. And I walked in and I was just like, pull up the paper. I was like, it was just another one. And I remember like them doing the piece for the very first time and showing, and everyone from production came down and they finish, and I look, and everybody is in tears. And like that, I was in tears because the kids were crying. It was just a very like, we felt like we were doing something very important. You know what I mean? And that felt really, really, really cool to have that camaraderie and the entire studio feel that. I also loved sitting in clowns when I worked with the All-Stars. Like half of
McCormick.
half of the All-Stars are like, we've also grown up together through the show. So it was me choreographing on my peers and people I'm the biggest fans of. And it was like I really felt like I could like explore contemporary movement, and it's not a judge number where like it has to be big and powerful and explosive and power moves. And so you think you can dance, a world of dance, you know, sometimes that those shows just need the biggest moves. I felt like I could really dig into my artistry a little bit and tell like a really cool story. And I got to work with all of them, and it was just like the easiest process ever. Like it just,
I basically, I sometimes say I poop it out. It's terrible, but I basically just like pooped it out in 2 hours. It was
Oh, and then I got an Emmy nomination. Oh, and then I won.
Oh yeah, I won for that one.
You won for that one because that was the year with JT. It was Mirror, and then also, she used to.
Yeah. I think that was my favorite. But besides that, actually, it's the 2 years I won the Emmy for. Those were my two favorite seasons to work on. The Next Generation, because of the All-Stars and just the kids, their spirits and their energies were so beautiful in the room, and what we got them to do was really, really, really cool. And Ricky's season. Was that season 11?
You went to 2015. Yeah, so it was Wind Beneath My Wings.
Yeah, just Ricky's season. I choreographed almost
Wave and Where I Go, those three.
I choreographed almost every episode, and I got to work with almost every contestant 3 or 4 times. So it's like sometimes you only get a contestant once, or you don't even get your favorite one once. It's a hard season for me, but like when you get to have someone 3 or 4 times, you get to know them a lot better, and they're also growing, and the trust between dancer and choreographer grows a lot. And so it's a very exciting moment.
We only got you 2 weeks last year, which I missed you last season. Beyond that, but you went to New York to do The Wrong Man. You won a Lucille Lortel Award. Congratulations. Crazy. I mean, it's so crazy because I look at the 12 months since I've seen you. I mean, I last saw you on the red carpet at the Emmys in this beautiful, super sparkly tuxedo. And it was 1,000 degrees and you must have been sweating to death.
There's a picture where you can see through my white shirt because it's soaking wet.
It was like 110 that weekend. But it really is amazing, your journey. Talk about what it was like to kind of shift from So You Think and to really be working in the theater community. You've been a part of it before, of course, but there's something about the New York theater community that's so special.
It was my favorite creation process ever with a creative team. It was, I say this quote a lot because it's really true. I was like in a candy store. I was a child, and I was just like, everyone was coming in, every performer, every person in the creative team was coming in with these ideas. They were going home at night, and then their brains were going, and they were coming in and performing at the highest level. It was the all-star game. I mean, you talk about like Alex Lacamoire and Ross and Tommy. I mean, the creative team in general. And then you just have the cast was so insane. I got to dig into my shaping sound days, creating, creating, we had a blank stage, and I had an hour, and I had 9 bodies, and I told the entire story through movement. We didn't have it in many props, or we didn't have it a set. It was all told basically through like fragments of his mind. So it was a playground for me. And Tommy, like, he gave me the upstairs he gave me the upstairs room at MCC, and he named it Trav's Attic. And he would just be like, go up there. You have 3 hours. I want to see what you have. And he's like, just come and get me when you're done. So I had to do like 2 numbers a day. So I do a number before lunch, then do lunch, and then I do another number. And that was the end of the day. Did you use an assistant for that, or did you just? Yes, I used Kate Harpootli, and she was my saving grace. And, Kate, I'm just like, is that good? She's like, it's amazing. I'm like, okay, good. I'm like, what is that? Like, it's like, I need that. It's called stamp of approval. Just like, Kate, put it up, put your stamp on it, please, so I can move on. So I really didn't have a lot of time to second guess a lot of things. Like, I didn't have time to like really finesse or manipulate, or I was like, that's fine-tune, yeah, because we put the show up in 2.5 weeks. Oof. That's crazy. That's a lot of pressure, doing 2 numbers a day and then having to have everything fine-tuned within 2.5 weeks. I felt the pressure because it was coming from, it was the creative team. Everyone had eyes on this show. It's the creative team from Hamilton. Thank God for Andy Blankenbuehler, like, kind of introducing me to Tommy. Tommy called me to do this. Like, I didn't audition. There was no audition process. My agent didn't get me this job. This is literally like Tommy being like, let's try Travis. I love Andy, and Andy trusts Travis. And so, it was my debut back in City as a theater choreographer. And that's what I wanted to do. I want to choreograph more Broadway shows. I want to have a picture with a Tony in my hand one day. Those are my goals. And this was the first step to doing that. And so I was like, I put pressure on myself, but I felt so comfortable doing it. Like, I just felt so supported. I never felt like I was having to prove myself to anybody besides myself.
I love the New York dance community too. And I think a lot of people out here don't know it as well, but I lived out in New York for 9 years, and there's some incredible dancers out there that I think we don't get to see if we're not watching like commercial dance on television. If you're not going to the theater or going to the ballet, what are the dancers like in New York? Maybe a little bit different from LA.
I mean, the dancers, I don't know. There's just for me, there's just a lot of identity and artistry and choices and texture. And, they're all over the map as far as what they do. However, the best dancers came to the audition, and then you got to sing. It's like, it's Alex Lacamoire. Like, he's got 3 Emmys, an Emmy, 3 Tonys. Like, he's just like, he is a genius when it comes to this, and he doesn't budge and doesn't back down on like, they're not going to be able to sing. There's 9 bodies in this show. They have to be able to sing and carry this amazing score that we have. So, the audition process was grueling because I was like, I love this dancer so much. He's just like, absolutely not. There's no way. There's no way. And so like, once I found someone that so then we had like the singing call, and I'm sitting in it, and like the minute one of my favorite dancers, like, I think she's like,
please sing.
She holds the note and she's singing really good. You would have thought I heard like Mariah Carey or something. Like, oh my God, she is amazing. She has to be in. Like she can hold a tune. And I was so excited about it. And like, he's like, no, she's good. She's good. She's good. But I thought I heard like, I don't know, like Beyonce sing, because it was in comparison. I was like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. Because I was like, I have to have her. She's one of my favorite dancers ever. So.
Did you win?
Did I win what with her?
Did you win and get her? Good.
she was my favorite part of the creating process to create on. I used her in everything. I literally say I got probably half of that Lucille Lortel Award because of her.
Can you tell us her name?
Oh, her name's Tilly.
Tilly. All right, yeah. Just so we know.
Yes, she is bonkers.
Unbelievable. Where do you go from here? Obviously, you're coming back to LA to make this your home base temporarily, obviously with eyes on New York and for 2021. What are those next steps?
Kristyn, I don't know.
Wow, you're so planned. I mean, you are so busy all the time.
This year has just been like, I've kind of just put my arms up in the air and just been like, let's just handle what we can handle, and let's just see what happens at this point until really things come back. It's just kind of like, but I'm okay with that. Like I've kind of maybe like needed to take a break in a way, and just like breathe. And I've kind of lost my fighter mentality as far as like, go get them and go get this. And I'm going to go do this. And I'm just going to like waiting to see, first of all, how the election goes, and just for my anxiety, and just all
kind of anxiety.
I know, all my anxiety, and just kind of just seeing how the industry gets back up on its feet and what that looks like. But I'll be prepared when it happens.
You're ready to go. I think we'll all have a lot to work through when all this is sort of, we all start really processing it. And I'm kind of looking forward to the creativity, because some of the most beautiful art, I think, comes out of the hardest times.
Yeah. Obviously this time has just taught me to never take for granted anything we had before, but also that none of this stuff really matters. There's people dying, and there's these things, there's just so many things that are going on, and there's so much unfairness, and it's just really, it's been an eye-opening 6 months of like, I used to scream if the judges said something. No, I'm just kidding. I used to scream if Nigel hated my routine. No, I used to.
No, but I can always feel the energy of the press room when people are like, I didn't agree with that.
So worked up about the stupidest stuff, and none of that matters. So like my mental stability and making sure my family is okay, and my friends are okay and supported, and gas them up whenever I can. Those are the most important things to me right now. So just like, I want us all to come together.
I do too, and I'm rooting for another season, right? So You Think You Can Dance. I'm like, it can't end this way. It can't. I don't know.
But yeah, I'm excited for these. I guess we're doing like a virtual Emmy I don't know what that means. I'm gonna.
Yeah, so you're doing a virtual, and it's Saturday. Your award is Saturday, September 19th, the day before the primetime Emmys. Are they sending a camera crew to you? Because I know they are for the primetime Emmys.
I don't know. I haven't really found out anything. I know I have like a blow up like movie screen that I'm gonna put up probably in my backyard. I might do like buy a couple friends and maybe like do like a themed, like we have to dress up. You know what I mean? It's also 3 days after my birthday, so I might make it like my Emmy birthday party. It'll be fun. I'm turning 33 in September. How insane is that? 33.
We've known you in the public eye, since you were 19?
18.
18.
Crazy town.
Unbelievable. This is so exciting though. It is. I think like this is going to be, the start of hopefully positive things moving forward. I really do believe that.
For everybody.
It's really a hard time, but I think when we come out of this, hopefully we'll all come together and really rally around each other, because we need to do that. We do need to do that, because unfortunately the arts are not being saved in this pandemic. So
nope, not even thought about.
No.
You know, it's also like, it's in New York, like how many people are moving out. It's really insane. Like there's a moving truck in front of my building almost every day I was there. And the theaters can't pay their rent. The theaters are just sitting there. It's so sad. And so many shows are closing. It really breaks my heart. And so my heart really goes out to the theater community in New York.
Yeah, I know. And what's wild is that Broadway had record-breaking years for, multiple years, not just one or two. We're talking about a decade of incredible runs. So they will be back. That is the truth. And the arts will be back, and we will all be here. I'll be here covering it. I promise you. I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for, taking the time out to talk today. Congratulations. I'm rooting for you, because that will kind of be a sweet way to cap off 10 consecutive nominations.
It would be really nice, but it's always nice. So
it's always nice. I know. And I was thinking, I'm like, Debbie Allen has the other record, which is she's got 11 nominations. They're not consecutive, but I'm like, at 33, you've got tons of time.
Well, we don't know what tomorrow brings.
Travis, good things ahead. Let's think good
I
things ahead.
I'm trying to stay positive over here.
I'm not going to let you end this interview where you're like, I'm going to think positively that I'm going to be in a corner at CBS Studios talking to you the first thing before the show starts, that'll at least happen one more time.
I think because of the pandemic, they should just like take all 5 nominees and just all give us 5 Emmys. It's just like, it's the pandemic. It's like, give a little, share a little. You know what I mean? Let's go. Just
everyone gets an award.
All 5 of us deserve it. Let's do it.
It's a participation trophy for everybody. Thanks for participating.
Just break off a wing. I'll take the ball. I'll put it right here.
You can hang it on your other ones. It's perfect. Yeah. You already have 2. You've got bookends.
I love it.
We're gonna plan this. Yeah, this is amazing. Miss you so much. I can't wait to see you in person at some point.
Yeah, I know. And take care. Big hugs and kisses.
Thank you. Miss you very much.
Bye.
Bye.